Life coaching is an inspirational journey of self-discovery, which is goal-orientated. We have goals and milestones, we find out about beliefs and values, and I hope that it will get that particular individual to where they want to be in their life. Find out the blocks and try and get rid of the blocks and just get them there. That's what life coaching is about. The type of techniques that I would use in life coaching are, to some extent, neuro-linguistic programming techniques. The very first session, I will need to identify where people are. I use a life wheel for that, which is a diagram. It's basically a circle, and the circle is divided into segments, a bit like an orange. And each segment has a different life area. So it could be career, it could be partner, it could be household skills, it depends what you want to talk about. And the client themselves would mark themselves where they are. Do they feel they're halfway? Do they feel they're really, is it fantastic? Have they got a wonderful partner so they're at a 10? Or are they about a 4 for money, for instance? Most people say they're at about a 4 for money, they never have enough. It's basically about that person, that individual, finding out where they feel they need to do some work. That session is usually as well to identify whether we're going to get on. Because actually, if they don't engage with me and I don't engage with them, this is the process is not going to work. So it's a good time for me not just to assess where they are and for them to assess where they are, but it's also a good time to decide whether actually this relationship is going to work with us. So it's about, the first session is very much about engaging with the client and getting a good relationship and establishing rapport, which I think is really important. Also in that first session, the person themselves will identify the life areas that they want to work on. Usually 2, usually not more, very often 1, so that we can do it in much more detail. The second session is usually about looking at goals in the life areas that those people have chosen to work on. Those are goals that we would expect to attain within 6 to 12 months. I find that actually working on a longer time frame than that is a bit disconcerting. People need to see that those goals are attainable, are tangible, they're there, they can get them, they can get hold of them and really look at them and wrestle with them. That's what it's all about. So what I would ask is that people see themselves 6 to 12 months from now. What are you doing in your career? What do you want to be? How are you going to be? Who are you going to be? Are you going to change? What needs to change? And we bring all that together and make a goal in the first person. And the reason that we do it in the first person is that actually people really feel they're there. You must be inspired by the goal. I tend to use SMART goals, well I call them SMARTY goals, which are specific and measurable, they're achievable, they're responsible and realistic, they're time managed and they're inspirational. Because if you aren't inspired by your goals, how likely is it that you're going to get there? Not very likely, I don't think. So we try to incorporate all those things into our goal making and do it in the first person. Once we've done that, we break that goal down into small, manageable steps. That may mean that we have mini goals. For instance, if you want to change your career, what is the first thing you need to do? You might need to go to college. You might need to do a course. You might need to apply for a few jobs. There are a number of things, and you break that down. What are the little jobs that you have to do? And by seeing those in a milestone form, or an action plan, if you like, that makes it look and feel much more manageable to the individual. When the second session has happened, then we move on to the more interesting bits, like, why haven't you got there already? What is it that stopped you from doing that? What are your beliefs about the work that you're doing now? And how do you see yourself? What are your beliefs in the future? How do you see it happening? What needs to change in your mind? How do you need to be? So it's all about looking at empowering beliefs and also about the negative beliefs that you want to get rid of. It's also about values, another session that we would do about values. What's really important to you, what's absolutely vital for you to have in your work. What are the key things to get you that success that you so much want? And do they conflict with the things that you don't want in your life? And those are things to be aware of, because there's always that tension, isn't there? And actually we need to work on that too. The other technique I use, particularly for empowering beliefs, is the reference table. Now this is, again, it's a diagram, it's a picture of a table with 4 legs, but you can have as many legs as you like. And what we do is we put that empowering positive belief on the top, and all the legs are underpinning evidence. So, how do you know you're good at counselling? What evidence do you have? And the evidence become the reference legs. And that gives people immense confidence. Hey, yes, I'm actually pretty good at that. The same thing really with negative beliefs, unhelpful beliefs about themselves, about their work, about whatever they want to do. We need to look at those. That's a very important part of it, and undermine those unhelpful beliefs. And that's important because possibly those things are holding them back. So we need to know where they've come from. Often is childhood, actually. And we can get rid of those by changing those negative beliefs into positive ones. Turn it round. See where you've got those things you're failing at in other parts of your life. They're nearly always there. In fact, I haven't met anybody yet who hasn't got those things in abundance elsewhere in their lives. Just may not be where they want it. Basically, I think life coaching is a means to an end for somebody. It's about finding goals and actually for me to enable them to plot their way forward and get to where they want to be. To be a good life coach, I think you do need to have had some life experience. You need to enjoy people. You need to enjoy enabling people. You need, I think, to feel empathy, but keep your feet pretty firmly on the ground. You need to have listening skills to hear what people are saying, because a lot of coaching these days is done on the telephone or on the internet. So you need to have skills of interpretation, either by the sound of the voice, or by people's body language, or by the way they sit, their physical appearance, the way they stand, the way they move. Everything is important. And if you don't actually have people in an office with you, it's important to be able to hear the difference in the sound of the voice. So you need to be able to hear properly and understand. I think those are the qualities mostly. I think one of the really important things about life coaching is about people taking responsibility for themselves, for their life. It's very empowering. And also not to blame other people when things don't happen, or just not take that responsibility, which is so important. Justification, it's something we all do. Blaming others or something for something that hasn't happened, something we all do. Take responsibility for yourself, for the things that you've got responsibility for your life, for what you're doing, for what you want to do, for how you are, for how you act, for how you speak, for how you hear. All those things are really important. Responsibility is at the heart of it.